Ladies and gentlemen, America is heading toward very troubling times. Inflation in June of 2022 is the highest it's ever been in 40 years. Gas prices are through the roof. Interest rates have skyrocketed. Massive food shortages persist in the grocery stores, and consumers are holding onto their wallets and not spending as much. Americans are having a hard time paying their bills and putting food on the table because life has gotten so much more expensive, and the current administration is not doing anything to help Americans out. As a matter of fact, they're making things worse by sending billions of dollars to Ukraine to help fight a war that has absolutely nothing to do with the United States of America. But I digress. It's obvious America is falling on hard times when parents can't even obtain baby formula for their infants. According to the Wall Street Journal, U.S. stores are struggling to stock baby formula despite months-long efforts by manufacturers and the Biden administration to boost supplies. Dark days are ahead when a first world country such as America cannot supply enough baby formula. Needless to say, America is heading into a recession, and there is nothing that we can do about it. The inevitable is coming sooner than later, like it or not. In this video, I'm going to point out 10 obvious signs a recession is looming over America. This is a video that you may want to pay close attention to because some of the signs I will mention are obvious and some of them are not so obvious. Recessions are not fun times at all. A lot of Americans will be suffering since they continue to live with their heads in the clouds. I truly feel that you should know the recession indicators so you'll be better prepared for what's coming so you don't get left out in the cold. So without further ado, let's begin. Have you noticed lately that companies are cutting their workforce down and laying off people left and right? From tech companies, electric vehicle manufacturers, to crypto firms, layoffs are ramping up and there are more to come. Companies can't keep up with overhead because customers are not buying as much products, goods, and services anymore, so they have no choice but to lay off their staff. Here in America, especially these days, there is no such thing as job security. You can lose your job at any time with or without prior notice. But even though Americans know this fact, they keep spending and building up debt as if the money train will keep rolling on forever. History has always shown us to expect the unexpected, and with the recession looming, it's obvious that more job losses are on the way. That's why it's always a good idea to have a side hustle, such as driving for rideshare or selling products on eBay, so you can keep money flowing in during hard times. If you currently work a job, you should always be prepared, because you'll never know when you receive the dreaded pink slip. Inflation in America is getting out of control. Inflation in the United States of America reached 9.1%, the highest it's been in 40 years. Almost everything is going up in price. From food, rent, automobile purchases, insurance, to gas, Americans are having a hard time saving money because most of their paychecks are going into living expenses. According to Moody's Analytics, a leading economics research firm, they claim that inflation is costing Americans $500 more a month in June 22 versus June 2021. This is a lot of extra money to be spending when your paycheck is not going up. Since inflation is rising month after month, Americans are cutting back on dinners, vacations, and things they don't need so they can stay home and save as much money as they can. And I don't blame them. When Americans stop spending as much, an economic downturn is definitely on the way. Home sales in America have come to a screeching halt in the summer of 2022. The main reason why the housing market is slowing down is due to rising interest rates. Interest rates for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage jumped to nearly 6% in the month of June 2022. That's a steep increase from a year ago when mortgage rates in June 2021 was hovering around 3%. Since interest rates are rising, home buyers are canceling contracts because they can no longer qualify for a home purchase. Also, there's more inventory coming on the market, which will eventually push home prices down since there is more competition among home sellers. Another reason why homes are not selling as fast as last year is because people are worried about the economy and if their jobs will be in jeopardy in the future. They understand a recession is coming, and they do not want to commit to a mortgage if there's a possibility they may get laid off. So potential home buyers will wait for the recession to blow over before they make a commitment to buy a home. Americans are holding onto their wallets and purses more and are staying away from items they do not need. It's not that they don't want to buy expensive items or blow money on a whim, it's just that they can't afford to do it. With inflation rising and companies laying off their employees left and right, people are worried about the future and don't want to be left out on the cold when the recession hits their doorstep. The negative thing about people spending less money is that stores and service providers make less money, which will cause them to lay off people and go out of business. And those who are laid off start spending less money, and it's just a continuous cycle that ignites a recession. A University of Michigan survey showed that in June of 2022, consumer sentiment dropped to a level of 50. According to Investopedia, consumer sentiment is a statistical measurement of the overall health of the economy as determined by consumer opinion. It takes into account people's feelings toward their current financial health, the health of the economy in the short term, and the prospects for longer-term economic growth, and is widely considered to be a useful economic indicator. Apparently, this is the lowest level that has ever been reported in the 70 years this survey has been in effect. But it's absolutely no surprise that consumer confidence is low. When people are using half of their paychecks to fill up their cars to go to work, it's no wonder people do not have a good feeling about the economy. This University of Michigan consumer sentiment survey is a clear-cut sign that we are heading into a recession. Consumers are not happy about the economy and where it's going, and the quote-unquote leaders in Washington are not doing too much to help out Americans. They are more interested in sending billions of dollars to other countries and encouraging wide open borders.
These migrants, many from Honduras, Guatemala, Haiti, and El Salvador, stopping for rest, days after barreling through a blockade of Mexican police.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. Did you know the amount of construction cranes in operation in the city is a sign of economic growth? Counting construction cranes can be a very good indicator of how the economy is doing, locally especially. Very few or no cranes at all is a sign of slow growth. A lot of cranes is a sign that the economy is doing good and thriving. When there are lots of cranes operating in a metropolitan area, that means more construction projects are active, which in turn means more jobs will be available for construction workers, jobs for people to manage the building, and office employees. Also, those cranes are being used to build apartment buildings. That means more people are moving to the particular area to fill the jobs available. Now for the opposite. If there are less construction cranes operating, or none at all, that means the economy is in the toilet as far as growth goes. Lately, I've been seeing less and less cranes, as a lot of construction companies are not getting contracts anymore from clients due to rising interest rates and uncertainty about the economy. Next time when you go to a metropolitan area, take account of how many construction cranes you see. Food shortages are still persisting in 2022. These shortages started in 2020 when the pandemic kicked off. Many food processing plants had to shut down due to COVID outbreaks and labor shortages due to people coming down with COVID. Now with the pandemic in our rearview mirror, food shortages are still persisting. But why is that? Well, the main reason I can think of is because of a lot of truckers that are quitting the industry because diesel prices have become insanely expensive. Driving trucks is extremely grueling and stressful. Plus, add in high diesel prices, no one wants to drive anymore, and I can't really blame them. Truckers keep America moving forward, and without them, food and products will not get to their destinations. And that's exactly what we are seeing right now. What's happening in our economy is a textbook supply chain disruption, which is costing people jobs and products and goods not getting to where they need to be, and I do not see it getting better anytime soon. The stock market is currently in a bear market, with the Dow Jones losing hundreds of points on a weekly basis, or so it seems. The stock market had a serious bull run during the bulk of the COVID pandemic in 2020 and 2021, since people were sinking the stimulus money and other pandemic-related assistance into the stock market. Now, since the pandemic is winding down and there have been whispers of an incoming recession, people are selling off their stocks and going to cash. Sure, the Dow Jones may increase a few hundred points one day, but the very next day it's likely to drop a few hundred more points and drop even lower for the next couple of days. People are selling off their stocks and keeping cash on hand because they don't know how far the stock market will crash during the recession. They don't want to lose their investments. According to Jalopnik, an automotive news publication, car repossessions are up 11% compared to 2020. The repo man is having a field day repossessing cars people bought with their pandemic stimulus. Many Americans used their pandemic assistance funds to buy cars they could not afford if they were working full-time. These people drove themselves deeper into debt by purchasing brand new expensive cars so they can keep up with the Joneses. Instead of saving their pandemic funds, they decided to spend it all as if the money train was never going to stop. But it did. People had car payments of up to $1,000 per month, and now that the free money from the government is gone, they can't keep up with the payments. So the repo man is repossessing cars left and right. If people just saved and invested the money they received from the federal government during the pandemic, they would not be in the predicament that they are in now. Unfortunately, America is a nation of consumers and slaves to debt. Hopefully, everyone will learn from their mistakes from the past and not repeat them in the future. When you constantly hear on the media bad news about the economy, that is a clear-cut sign that a recession is coming. Negative press is fueling the incoming recession, and people are getting scared of what's to come. When the talking heads on CNBC or Fox News constantly chatter about a recession, what its effects will be, and who will be affected, they are essentially throwing gasoline onto the fire. People should realize that the media does play a part on how people react and how they go about their daily lives. It's true that everyone has their own mind and should be responsible for themselves, but no one can deny that the media influences people, the markets, companies, organizations, and the overall economy. And when many people share a hive mind, they will spread their influence to other people, and the domino effect of calamity will take place. In conclusion, America is heading toward very, very rough times. A recession is coming, like it or not, and most Americans are not getting prepared for it. They're just ignoring the warning signs, or they just don't care altogether. To everyone viewing this video, please heed this warning. No one is coming to save you. It's up to you to get prepared for the incoming recession. You took the first step by watching this video and learning about the signs of a recession. Now it's up to you to do what's necessary to get prepared. Start paying off debt. Start saving more money. Create an emergency fund. Sell things you don't need. Make smart investments. And start being more frugal with your money. And please always remember this. No one cares more about your money and your well-being more than you do. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two. If you found the information in this video valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning into the Red Pill Economy, and I will see you next time. Take care.